Hello, this video is for Mr. Kenzie's integrated algebra class for day 1 of the sum and product of the roots unit. Today we'll be talking about the discriminant and the nature of the roots. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to write down the quadratic formula because we will be using that. Our warm-up, number 1, says solve using the quadratic formula. So the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to start writing this. We're going to plug our numbers in. So our b value is 4. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared. So 4 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1. Coefficient of x squared times c, which is 3, all over 2 times a. So as we said, our a value is 1. So we're going to simplify this. And as we talked about last chapter, you can use your calculator. We have on the outside negative 4 plus or minus. On the bottom 2 times 1, which is 2. And as we talked about last chapter, you're going to use your calculator to simplify. So you have 4 squared, which is 16, minus 4 times 1 times 3. When you do that, the inside, okay, you should get 4. The inside is our radicand. That is also known as our discriminant, which we'll talk about today. Now 4 is a perfect square, so we're going to cross that out. And it's going to turn into a 2. The next thing that we are going to do is we're going to simplify this with the plus and the minus. So here we have x is equal to negative 4 plus 2 over 2. And we also have x is equal to negative 4 minus 2 all over 2. Simplifying, negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 divided by 2 should be negative 1. When you plug that in your calculator, you're going to want to put the numerator in its own set of parentheses. The next step, we have negative 4 minus 2, which is negative 6, divided by 2, which is negative 3. Now, these roots, we have 2 of them, all right? The roots are where it crosses the x-axis. So if I had a parabola, my parabola would cross at negative 1 and negative 3. And a very rough sketch of this would look like this. That's what the parabola would look like. What we're going to talk about this unit are these specific roots. So there's 2 of them. So we have 2 real, because they don't have an I. Rational, because they terminate. And unequal because they're not the same. So unequal roots. Now if you take a look over here, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to plug this in. We have x is equal to negative b. So our b value is negative 5. Plus and minus the square root of b squared, which is negative 5 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is 6. All over 2 times a, so 2 times 2. So we're going to start to simplify this We have negative 5, which is 5, plus or minus. I'm going to use the calculator to find my radicand, or my discriminant. 2 times 2, which is 4. The inside, we have negative 5 squared, which is 25. 25 minus, well, 2 times 4 is 8. 6, I'm going to get negative 23. Now, as we talked about last unit, negative under a radical will give us an imaginary number. That negative sign is going to come outside as an I. Now, you can use last chapter's notes to help yourself out with this. Now, for that, 23 cannot be simplified. We have our I. We actually can stop right here. Those are the roots. They're imaginary roots. So all we would have to write for this would be 2 imaginary. And the reason why they're imaginary is because there's an I. If I would take my calculator and plug this in, I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to go to y equals, and I'm going to plug in 2x squared minus 5x plus 6. And if I would graph this, it's not going to cross the x-axis, giving it imaginary roots. And that is our warm-up for today.